Good morning, everyone. Sorry for being late, and welcome to the 4th CSN Greece ICT conference. It's a pleasure to moderate this first panel, where we will explore how AI and smart systems are fundamentally transforming the maritime industry, improving operational efficiency, boosting profitability, and driving sustainability. From intelligent voyage planning and predictive maintenance to port automation, autonomous vessels, and smart use of data, AI is driving a profound digital evolution across shipping. Let's begin by introducing our distinguished panelists. John.
Hi.
Maybe you can say a bit about you?
Yes, so I'm a performance manager, energy efficiency manager at Costamare Shipping, a shipping company operating bulker and container vessels.
Thank you very much. Dimitri?
Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Dimitris Marinis. I'm the ICT manager of Angelakos the last 7 years, and we're operating bulk carriers vessels.
Perfect. Nestor?
Yes, I'm Captain Nestor Grigoropoulos. I'm HSSQE manager and DPA for Prominence Maritime and Sea Traders SA, Mr. George Prokopiou Group of Companies. I'm DPA for the last 15 years, and we manage 16 bulk carriers.
Mr. Fouad?
I guess I'm the IT support guy. My name is Fouad Chaarani. I'm the managing partner at Xenatus Global. We're a multinational technology consulting firm.
Thank you. And Monica?
Hi, I'm Monica Polemitis. I'm partner at TKI. It's a software development house and an AI strategy consultancy. I have been working with emerging technology for 20 years now, and I look forward to our discussion.
Thank you so much. We have 5 key panel discussion topics today. We start with the first one, which is about smart routes and voyage optimization. AI-driven voyage optimization is revolutionizing route planning by factoring in weather, currents, and port congestion to reduce fuel use and emissions. John, from your perspective, how close are we to seeing this technology widely adopted across commercial fleets, and what barriers still exist to full implementation?
Yeah, that is a really good question. Thank you. I think in my company now, we don't work so much with AI, but we work in BI. We have this landscape of how things went, not so much looking forward. But let me introduce you to what is an efficient voyage. I mean, it's kind of simple, just to be on the same ground here. The best voyage would be starting off, say, from Rotterdam, going to New York, putting the rudder at 0 degrees, and putting the engine at a constant fuel. That way, you will probably use less fuel, especially if the weather is the same across the voyage, which, of course, it's not, and to do the shortest path. Now, that's a bit difficult because we have autopilots. Of course, the rudder has to move as well. You might not go to New York. You might end up in Miami. I mean, it depends on weather and current. So we have to use the rudder, but hopefully as little as possible, because the rudder has that effect of slowing down the vessel. The thing we used to do in the past was to say if we were going 4,000 miles, we would do 400 miles per day. Captain would try to, keep that speed, so he would arrive on time and not necessarily care so much about the weather. But in my opinion, the constant RPM or the constant power or the constant fuel is the better approach, because engine operate under the same conditions all the time. And that means practically that in case you have weather against you, you drop speed, and if the weather is favorable, you gain more than you otherwise would. So that is kind of the logic behind it. And now, one thing is to take the shortest route, And you can do that with this approach, and you will use less fuel, except in the cases where you have weather, which you have most cases, but where you have variable weather, there you have a huge potential to, there you need to drop more speed, or maybe you need to go around the weather, and then it starts to be really, really complicated. And for the captain to do all of this, even though he has the software on board and he can do voyage optimization with the software, it is difficult to find the optimal all the time. So that is a problem that needs solving, and it needs solving every day, every hour, so to say, how to find that. Also, how to find the best path, because one thing is to have your speed, the other one is the path. And it's just a huge mathematical problem that needs solving. And it needs solving for every vessel. Every vessel has its own. We don't have, like, 1 million certain type of vessels. Everyone is unique. So what we also need is, of course, to understand how each vessel acts on different weather conditions. And that's another problem. And I don't think AI can solve that, because in order for AI to solve it, they need the data from the vessel. And they don't have the data. So they will have to work with generic models. So, yeah. Should I stop, or I can continue?
No, thank you, John. Monica, how do we ensure data quality and interoperability between different systems and weather data providers?
First of all, I want to stress that in order to have AI, as I said before, yes, you need the data, and the data needs to be correct. At the same time, I think that something that is less commonly discussed is that when you have the data, in order to get proper AI results, you have to train the data, you have to train the model, and training the model is like speaking to a 2-year-old about the world. So you have to teach the model of what the data is about. So, for example, as you show a 2-year-old, this is a green tree, or this is a big house, you need to do the same with a model in order to understand what it's faced with when it comes to the data. Now, having said that, data is stored, as I said in my presentation, in different systems, which usually don't communicate between them. They are in silos. So we need to get the data out of those silos or out of our email clients and take them somewhere centrally in a central repository in order for them to be combined and insights to be drawn from them properly. So how do we do that? We first need to understand what data we have, what data we collect, how often we collect, who owns the data within a company, who is responsible for updating the data in our company. That's better. So once we do that, which is an audit of our data, we need to understand where the data is stored, right? Which systems we're using and what capabilities those systems have. Do they have APIs, for example? Do we need to get them out of that system in a different way? So a proper audit of data and systems is required in order to create this single source of truth that I called before a data lakehouse. And once we have that, we can have the prediction element through the analysis and the agentic AI that needs to be applied on top. And that's the aim, the future aim that we are going towards. Agentic AI is where we should be striving. So once we decide that we want agentic AI, which means technology that is acting on its own accord, so taking decisions on behalf of us, if certain conditions apply, it means that the AI or the machine has understood what we are analyzing and what a human would be doing if those conditions applied. So this is, in a nutshell, how we go about exploring the data environment and the data ecosystem in a company in order to start working towards AI.
Thank you, Monica. We're moving to the second discussion topic, which is smart fleet and predictive maintenance. Predictive maintenance powered by IoT sensors and AI is shifting the industry from reactive to proactive maintenance. Dimitris, what impact are you seeing in terms of cost reduction, downtime, and operational reliability?
Okay, the vessels nowadays is not just ships sailing on the seas, are digital ecosystems. They're producing massive amount of data, and this is where AI comes to give the correct insights, the best insights. Now let's get the big picture. Let's assume that we can have access to same type of vessels, same type of main engines, let's take as an example, and in multiple companies, and have all this information for the time between failures of specific spare parts. And then each company has this information available at any given time. So they can predict the failure of the device, the failure of the spare part, and they can replace this before the bad happened. So taking this as a guidance, then we will be able to ensure that their vessels will continue run smoothly. And of course, there's not going to be some issues with claims, as Mr. Sismanidis said earlier. So it's very important to have all this information, and predictive maintenance can save the reputation of the company, the reputation of the vessels, and of course, to be as a toolbox for the seafarers.
Thank you, Dimitri. Nestor, are crew members equipped with the skills needed to interpret and act on AI-driven insights, specifically on human-AI interaction?
This is the 1 million question. My answer is certainly no. Let's be frank. The crews are trained so far in an analog environment. They train to trust their knowledge. They train to trust their experience and their expertise. They're not trained to analyze data, diagrams, dashboards, and all these things that AI provides. Actually, the question is, who is trained on AI? In the previous presentation, I think it was clearly explained that there is a huge gap in training, not only for the seafarers. There is a gap of training, I would say, in all fields of our day-to-day life. And I remember an old song back in the 90s where it was saying, you know, it's the end of the world as we know it. And certainly AI reshapes the world. And we need to provide training not only for the seafarers, but we need to introduce AI from the elementary school, from the very basics. You know, we all use ChatGPT and all these applications, but we mainly use it as a tool as a Google tool to search, as a Google search tool, which is not. Now we're talking about something completely different. AI can become the other you. I don't think that it will replace you, but it will be certainly another, you know, a partner of you. And there is no training framework in terms of STCW, in IMO, has not addressed the training for AI. And I think that the training on AI and how we interact with AI has to be, we have to introduce it from the very, very, very early years of education.
Thank you, Nestor. We're moving to the third topic, which is smart logistics and port operations. Ports are becoming smart digital ecosystems where AI is optimizing everything from berth allocation to crane operations. Fouad, a reality check question. How do I get my organization to AI?
That's a really big question. Typically, we get called in. I get called in by CEOs, by ship owners, ship managers. We work with different ports around the world and so on. And they tell me, I want AI. How do I get AI? I mean, Monica mentioned earlier, really, data is the core of this, right? But let's look at ship managers for a second, or ship owners. Are they tomorrow going to take all these investments and all these systems, they're going to throw it out, and they're going to spend millions of dollars, millions of euros replacing everything? Ideally, yeah, that would be great if they could do that, right? But I don't think so. And I don't think so for two reasons. Number one, most systems, whether we're talking PMS systems, crewing systems, so on, if you look at some of the major providers around the world, they're all working on their next-gen system right now, which means they're all working on their new AI system. Who wants to be the guinea pig to try this? Who wants to be the first to jump in and experiment with this? So it's a little cautious. Maritime in general, and I believe, Captain, you can kind of back me up on this, is a very cautious industry, right? And technologically has been a little bit, fell back a little bit behind it, right? Just like you have a lot of safety, a lot of things that have to go into it. So what can you do? You can't just sit back. You're not going to spend millions or hundreds of millions that go behind it to invest. So what you do is you got to do a concept that is called hyper-automation. What does this mean? It means that I have an older system. That system, I'm not going to replace it right now, but I need to access data. I need to access processes within it. I need to make my people more efficient. So go back to the old school way, which is you create the equivalent of what's called black boxes. I have my in and my out. I know what that is. I get an AI agent that wraps the black boxes, whether through processes, whether through data management, whether through automations and so on, and I begin my journey. And my colleagues earlier were talking about change management and how important that is, and how all these things play a factor. You got to start educating, you got to start enabling, you got to get rid of the human element of not getting rid of human elements of doing the ridiculous work of this paper goes around to 5 departments, gets signed before it ends. There's a way to automate that process. So that automation and the way we go through wrapping the systems is the beginning of the journey. When the new platforms come to the market and so on, at that point, it's a time of either a shift, adaptability, upgrades, things that go throughout it.
Thank you, Fouad. John, how is AI changing the relationship between ship operators and ports? And what does the port of the future look like to you?
I don't think it changes anything in terms of the cooperation between them. I don't know, but this is, as a ship owner, I think the port of the future. Let me tell you the story about going from Stockholm to Athens. So we go to the airport in Stockholm, and they tell us to board the plane, because they want to board the plane in order to get an earlier slot in Athens. This is during summers, of course, it's very hectic. They managed to do all that. They managed to board the plane, set clear for takeoff, and Athens doesn't give them an earlier time, so we sit there for 45 minutes more. But anyway, the principle is important, that if we had the same on the ports, that we had a vessel going from Rotterdam to New York, saying, I'm coming to New York, let me know when I should arrive, and then have that sort of slot cost concept, even though maybe we do 40 days voyages and the planes are never up for more than a day. But I mean, the same principle, if that can happen, that's really good, because I think that's where we can save a lot of fuel emissions. If we have just-in-time arrivals, that is probably the best case scenario. Yeah.
Thank you, John. We're moving to the fourth discussion topic, is about smart vessels and autonomous ships. Autonomous and semi-autonomous ships are no longer just prototypes, they are beginning real-world operations. Dimitri, what do you see as the realistic roadmap for autonomy in commercial shipping over the next decade?
I don't think so that it's possible to happen. I agree again with Mr. Sismanidis saying earlier about the autonomous shipping. Is anybody here that hasn't experienced any communication outage with a vessel? Please raise your hand. I agree, nobody. Everybody, we have faced this issue. So imagine in the middle of the ocean losing the communication of the vessel. The only winner is going to be the salvage companies, nobody else. So we'll replace some ranks, probably. It's not sure yet. But if we are close to autonomous shipping on our sector, absolutely not.
It's too early.
Yeah, and it's dangerous. It's not just early. And Mr. Nestoridis, I think, sorry, Mr. Grigoropoulos, I think, as a DPA, you might agree with that.
Yes. It's a really difficult task.
I think we're too far away for autonomous shipping.
Thank you, Dimitri. Nestor, I have another question for you. How AI-powered situational awareness can prevent navigational incidents and reduce human error?
Yes. To begin with, we are using, in our organization, we have started using an AI tool to enhance navigational safety. The results we have witnessed so far are fascinating and they're very encouraging. Just to tell you that in the first 3 or 4 months of using this maritime tool, navigational tool, we have seen a drop in the close quarter situations around 65%. What does this mean? That means, you know, when we're talking about close quarter situation, we're talking about near misses. By reducing the near misses, certainly we have less exposure to have a serious marine incident, in which in our case, serious marine incident, we're talking about collision. What this maritime AI tool is doing this maritime tool is not here to replace anyone. It's just here to enhance the navigational safety, increase the awareness, take the stress from the officers in very congested and, let's say, hard navigational environments in straits, in Singapore, or in during heavy navigational traffic. What this tool is doing is provide to the officers what we say early detection. According to the collision regulation, one main aspect is the early action. Take early action. Take every action and early action to prevent a collision. This is what this tool is doing. Apart from that, this tool is just a camera and is not affected by any other navigational equipment, is not affected by any deliberate action to harm the ship, just as GPS spoofing. We all seen what has happened now in the Red Sea, especially now that we are living in a very, very volatile environment, and is not affected by any other prevailing circumstances or weather conditions, and is another pair of eyes that assist our officers to perform the duties in an efficient way. What it's not doing is that this piece of equipment, since it's not yet regulated by SOLAS, is not there to be used for collision avoidance.
Thank you,
that is very, very important to say. Our crews are trained on this system. Our crews know very well, and we have adjusted our company's procedure to make it clear where you start using and where you stop using this piece of equipment. Okay, and another very important aspect is that provide to us, to the office, valuable data to use it to prevent from an incident, because all these close quarter near miss and close quarter situations are analyzed from us, and we disseminate the information to the rest of the fleet without, of course, putting blame on anyone. Okay, we have a just culture in our organization, just for lessons learned. So I believe that AI maritime navigational tools are here to assist. I don't think that they are going to replace the officers anytime soon. I don't know in 40 or 50 years later what will happen. I fully agree with Mr. Marinis that I don't think we are very close for autonomous shipping. In Holland, I think in Netherlands, they tried and they took it back. All right? Yes. So this is how we are using the AI, and this is what I believe for AI to enhance navigational safety.
Thank you, Nestor. We're moving to the fifth and final discussion topic about smart data and international standards. The foundation enabling all AI applications is clean, connected data. AI depends on high quality, standardized data, but shipping is still a fragmented industry. Monica, how can shipping companies fix their internal data landscape, standardize formats, enforce governance, and break silos so AI can actually make sense of operational information?
It's an exercise called data governance. Data governance frameworks help us do an audit of our data and understand who owns the data in an organization, as I said before, who is responsible for updating, maintaining this clean data. But in essence, coming back to the overarching topic of what makes AI successful, I think traditionally, within technology and its implementation, beyond data, beyond systems, the weakest link has always been the human. And I don't mean it in a derogative way. I mean that we have always depended on humans. Even in traditional software, we depend on humans to use the systems fast enough, type information fast enough, generate reports in a way that that are useful for an organization. With AI, the human is the weakest link again in terms of maintaining the data and helping the system make meaningful decisions. Of course, what is fundamental to understand is, and going back to a discussion I had yesterday with Christiana, is that AI is not just generative AI, Gen AI. And in fact, in most of the discussions with potential clients, when we were talking about the capabilities of data analytics with AI, the conversation goes back to the fact that, to their argument that, but we can do all that with Copilot, or we can throw data in ChatGPT and get the same insights. And in fact, this is a perception. So going back to the human, let's say, weakness, the human understanding of what can be done with AI. So the human element is very important. And another thing, again, related to data is what I increasingly see in, let's say, the difficulty between, in sharing information between departments. So the people in charge of various departments feel some kind of attachment to their data and a little bit protective of their data. Maybe, let's say, thinking that if they share it, somebody will find something wrong with it or blame them about something. So again, moving away from this perception is fundamental to the success of AI, and setting up a framework that will allow us across the board to allow us to have properly governed data that is useful for the whole organization and not just individually and sectorally available to departments.
Thank you, Monica. Fouad, we've heard a lot about very promising things today, about AI and how it will impact our industry. Fast forwarding ahead, what can we expect from AI and what we should be wary of?
That's a really good question. I'm a firm believer in, to know where you're going, you have to kind of know where you came from, right? Look back a little bit. In the early 2000s, when we set up Xenatus, our first set of clients were the studios in Hollywood. We're helping them do a concept that's called digitizing the masters. That means that technologies that get those old school reels into digital formats, so the Netflix era comes about, so the whole digital revolution comes about, right? Then you went through the dot-coms and so on and so forth. AI is kind of the same thing right now, right? So if you think back to the dot-com world, you signed up for this e-commerce world and that e-commerce world and this and that and so on and so forth, and you ended up with a spaghetti. We see the same thing today happening in the AI world. Everybody's saying, I have AI this, and I got this, and I'm going to use this for PMS, and I'm going to use this for crewing, and I'm going to use this for finance, and so on. Now, let's take the poor person that's sitting in the office, that's trying to do their job, and they have to navigate 7 different AI platforms, and they have to try to see how these AIs can actually talk to each other. It's going to become a nightmare that comes with it. So our advice to organizations for where things are headed is that, number one, agree on a technology stack. Figure out what your foundation. Same way you build a house, right? You're not going to put the 2nd floor before you put the foundation. Figure out your technology stack. Figure out how everything comes into one. Once you figure this out, also make sure that whatever you're picking has big R&D budgets behind it, because that's what's going to propel it into the future, unless you're planning on funding the R&D budget that go behind it. But it is inevitable that you're going to use multiple platforms, multiple AIs that go with it. Even no matter how much you consolidate your technology stack, it's inevitable. There's a concept that's coming about right now. We've started some pilots with some clients around it, which is called the AI orchestrators, which means I have a hyper AI, something that sits on top of all of it, that allows me to talk to different agents in different models and different workflows to orchestrate it. It's still in the early stages, generally in technology. Different providers tell you, yes, I've been using for a long time and so on. Ask the questions really, how long has it been in production? How long it's been operational? So it's build your foundation, make sure you have a solid ground you're building on, capitalize on R&D of these tech companies that are pumping billions into this stuff. Do your own look forward to see where things are headed, and know that the AI orchestration is the next step that's going to come behind it.
Thank you, Fouad.
Thank you.
As we all heard, AI is not just another wave of digitalization, it's transforming how the entire maritime ecosystem functions from sea to shore. Before we close, I would like to ask each of you for a final thought in one sentence. What's the single biggest challenge to AI adoption in shipping over the next 5 years? John, I'm starting with you.
In one sentence, that would be lack of data to train.
Not enough data.
Yeah.
Dimitris?
My opinion is that it's a new opportunity for a great toolbox to help seafarers and office personnel to be more effective and more fast in decision making.
The human factor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Element, I would
Element.
say.
Yes. Nestor?
In a phrase, I would say, do not afraid, embrace the change, and adapt.
Fouad?
One word, trust. Trust the fact that your people are skilled enough to learn a new skill. Trust enough in the systems that you're putting in. Trust enough, and be wary of policies that are not going to prohibit you rather than are going to propel you forward.
And possibly learn how to build trust.
Exactly.
Thank you. And Monica?
I would say that around data, again, you need a proper strategy for the AI adoption and data management. Companies are bombarded by their vendors, by consultants. Everybody's offering AI everywhere. It's in the ERP, it's in lake houses. You have to have a strategy and decide how to handle AI adoption. Is it a phased approach? Is it an all-in approach? You need to have the North Star to follow. The human element is important, but at the same time, because data is gold for companies, they have to make sure that they own their data and they are not locked in to specific systems and they are not locked in specific vendors. They have to own it.
Thank you, Monica. Thanks, everybody, for the very nice discussion today. We can possibly break for our coffee right now. And if you have any questions, we can discuss over the coffee break.
Let me see if we have any questions. No. Please stand up.